This is the complete holding company system in one video. As a matter of fact, I'm going to simplify it with 3 steps. Step 1, step 2, and step 3. And I'll unpack each of these steps so that you can understand this complete holding company system. Step number 1 is for you to file and form. What do I mean by file and form? Well, if you're starting from scratch, even if you are a beginner when it comes to starting and structuring holding companies, how do you file and form your paperwork? Well, whatever state you're in, all you have to do is go to the Secretary of State website, okay? You can just type in Georgia Secretary of State, business filing, Florida Secretary of State, whatever the state is that you're in. And you can also, depending on how many browsers you have, you can go to the IRS's website, irs.gov/SS4, or just type in online EIN number, okay? Those are the 2 main filings that you're going to want to do. Your state Secretary of State portal or website and online EIN number. Now, a lot of times I go to the Secretary of State. That's if I'm doing the paperwork for a client or even for an entity myself. I'm going to go to the Secretary of State just to do a business name search to make sure that the name is available. So ABC Enterprises LLC, I'll type it in. When there's no data showing, it lets me know that that name is available. Now, of course, you can pay for a name reservation, but I like the hack to save $25. I do it too much. And then once I know the name is available, I'm going to go to the IRS's website and I'm going to obtain the online EIN number. Now, I want you to remember, when you are obtaining your online EIN number for your holding company, few nuances. Number 1, you want to make sure that you download the PDF version of that EIN letter, okay? Just make sure you always do that. Don't close that window out when you get to the end. Make sure that you download so you can have a copy of that on your computer. But when you are filling out the application for your holding company's EIN number, okay, no matter what state you're in, there's not a category on the EIN or SS4 form, online or physical one. There's not a section for holding companies. But when you're completing the online form, when you get to the area where it asks you what industry it's in, you can scroll to the bottom and there's going to be a box that says other, okay? And when you check other, there's probably going to be a section where it asks you to specify what do you mean by other. Right there, all you have to do is put holding company. As simple as that. Just put holding company in that. And you can move on, okay? You obtain your EIN number, then you go to your state's Secretary of State website, wherever the corporations division is, and you're going to file for your articles of organization. This is going to be for an LLC, a domestic limited liability company, and you're going to put the name, the information in for your single member or your multi-member LLC. And again, depending on that state's Secretary of State portal, they may not have a section or an NAICS code specifically for holding companies. Like Georgia's a state that does. We have an area for holding companies. So you're going to look at the industry. If you don't see a section for holding companies, you can easily just check the box for any legal purpose. It's perfectly fine. Any legal purpose, that's perfectly fine. Because what a lot of people don't understand is, just because you don't have a section on the online EIN paperwork or the articles of organization that you file, doesn't mean it's not a holding company. But even when you do have that on there, it still doesn't mean you're going to use it like a holding company. So you're going to be absolutely fine. EIN number, check the box. Articles of organization, if there is a NAICS code for holdcos, you check it. You make sure it's the correct one. If it's not, just go with any legal purpose. And then once you have those 2 complete, you want to draft an operating agreement. The operating agreement is going to be between you and the holding company. Ramon Preston is the owner, the organizer, the member, unless it's you and your spouse. It would be a multi-member. It would be you and your spouse. But the operating agreement needs to be drafted because your operating agreement is the constitution for your LLC. Now, of course, with these first two documents, you will be able to go to your local bank or whatever bank you bank with and open up a bank account. But most Main Street entrepreneurs who set up holding companies, they don't have operating agreements. That is considered step one. File and form. That's step one. Step two is for you to transfer assets. Very similar to how a trust is set up. When you get your documents drafted for a trust, like a real living trust, you still have to fund the trust. Well, when you have your holding company set up, remember this LLC, you're not going to be selling a product or providing a service. So where is the actual revenue coming from? The revenue is going to be coming from the assets that the holding company owns and controls. That's why step two is for you to transfer. And I'm saying transfer assets because unless you already have businesses or assets that you're planning on buying, you're going to have to take assets that you currently own, maybe personally or in some other entity, and you're going to have to transfer them. So you're going to be transferring existing LLCs because remember, now that you have your holdco set up, let's say if this was you over here and you have an opco, this is an operating company that you have, whether it's a service-based business or a product-based business. Now you have your holdco. You don't want to own two businesses. You want to take yourself off of the ownership and you want to transfer the ownership of this existing LLC to your new holdco. All right. Maybe there's some working capital that you have. You might have a personal bank account with some money in it, and you want this company to have some working capital so that it can go acquire and control some assets. Maybe there's other assets like IP, intellectual property, some digital assets. Maybe you have some stocks, bonds, or certificates, whatever the things are that you have that you know are valuable, that you want your holding company to own and control. You transfer the ownership of them to the holding company. Now, of course, there's an assignment of transfer. There are certain documents that you can use just to validate and verify that there was a legitimate transfer of those assets. I've done it with my copyrights. I've done it with trademarks. I've done it with ownership interests of LLCs. I've done it with money. I've done it with paper assets, physical assets, digital assets. I've done it with all of the above, so I know it works just like that. And so that would be step two. Step three will be for you to acquire and or accumulate. So if you are acquiring assets, remember, the holdco is now the business that you're using to go out to acquire assets. Now, you might be acquiring ownership interests. Maybe you want to invest in real estate. Maybe you want to invest in a syndication or a private equity fund. Maybe you want to invest in the stock market. Maybe you want to invest in a local business that they're looking for a partner. Or maybe you want to come together with 2 or 3 people and create a partnership. I recommend that you do all the acquiring and the accumulating of assets through your holdco. And that is the full holding company blueprint in one video. It's just as simple as that. Now, of course, if you need more in-depth information, all you have to do is just go back to one of the first videos that we have on how to start a holding company and just work through each of those sequence of videos so that you can understand it. And if you need my team and I to help you, just click the link in the description and we'll be more than happy to jump on a strategy call to help you along the way.